Greetings and welcome to this amazing tale. You will hear a story today that will alter your perspective on retribution, failure, and success. This is more than simply an automobile story. It is a tale of fervor, tenacity, and disproving others. It is a tale that will encourage you to persevere despite the doubts of others. You will discover by the end of this story how one insult can transform the world, why you should never undervalue yourself, how failures may serve as your greatest source of inspiration, and why you should never give up on your dreams. And the most thrilling aspect? As you listen to this incredible narrative, your English will also get better. Your English naturally gets better when you hear stories like this. You will improve your listening skills, pick up new vocabulary, and comprehend sentence patterns. Therefore, don't worry if you're a beginner. If you simply like the story, learning English will come naturally to you. Let's start this amazing trip now, telling the tale of how one of the most prominent auto brands in the world was born out of an insult. The start. There was a man before Lamborghini became a globally recognized automobile brand. Ferruccio Lamborghini was his name. Ferruccio was born in Santo, Italy, on April 28, 1916. He didn't come from a wealthy household. As farmers, his parents put a lot of effort into caring for their land and growing food. Ferruccio stood out from the other children when he was younger. Ferruccio was interested in machines, but other kids enjoyed playing. He enjoyed seeing his father operate farming equipment, including tractors. He was curious about how things operated. When he was a little lad, he once witnessed his father fumbling with a broken tractor. Ferruccio chose to sit and begin studying the machine rather than fleeing or playing. "How can I fix this?" he pondered. He already had a strong passion for engineering and mechanics by the time he was a teenager. He was aware that farming was not what he wanted to do. He aspired to construct devices that had the power to transform the planet. However, life was not simple. Ferruccio was forced to enlist in the Italian Air Force as a mechanic when World War II broke out. Although it was a difficult period, he learned a lot about engines, machinery, and problem-solving techniques. Ferruccio had a unique gift during the conflict. He was quick and effective at fixing machines, whereas other mechanics took their time. He became one of the military's top mechanics once his superiors saw his abilities. Then, however, a horrible incident occurred. Italy was in ruins after the war finished. People lost their jobs, companies closed, and factories were demolished. Ferruccio had no business, no money, and no prospects. But he made a choice rather than give up. He would launch his own business. Italy was an agrarian nation at the time. The majority of people were farmers, and in order to plow their fields, they required tractors. However, there was an issue. Tractors were hard to come by and costly. Ferruccio recognized a chance. He had a concept, but he didn't have a business. He chose to disassemble and use the parts of existing military vehicles from the conflict to construct new tractors rather than creating entirely new ones. He didn't have to spend a lot of money, so this was great. For farmers, the tractors were sturdy, dependable, and reasonably priced. He could create better machines by applying his mechanic expertise. Ferruccio thus founded his own business, Lamborghini Trattori, in 1948. He and his employees used parts from military vehicles to construct tractors in a tiny workshop in Italy. And you know what? It was quite successful. Because Lamborghini tractors were strong, long-lasting, and less expensive than other models, farmers adored them. His company began expanding quickly, and in a matter of years, he rose to prominence as one of Italy's largest tractor producers. Ferruccio Lamborghini had gone from being a mechanic in a tiny town to becoming a wealthy businessman. He wasn't content, though. He wanted more. His wealth increased along with his business. Ferruccio had a passion for automobiles, and his wealth allowed him to purchase the finest vehicles available. Although he owned other high-end vehicles, his Ferrari 250 GT was his favorite. Ferrari was Italy's most prestigious automaker at the time. You were successful if you owned a Ferrari. Ferruccio cherished his Ferrari, but there was a significant issue. It had problems. Despite its beauty and speed, the automobile was not flawless. He often had to send it for repairs since the clutch kept breaking down. Recall that Ferruccio was a master mechanic. He was more knowledgeable about engines than others. He made the decision to open the Ferrari and inspect the clutch on his own one day. He was shocked by what he found out. He employed the same kind of clutch in his Lamborghini tractors as he did in his Ferrari. This infuriated him. Ferruccio was spending a lot of money on a high-end Ferrari, but the parts were inexpensive, and he used them in his tractors. But he was not merely upset, he had a thought. But what if he could make this right? Low quality was never acceptable to Ferruccio Lamborghini. He was a perfectionist. He therefore made the decision to speak with Enzo Ferrari, the man who built Ferrari. Ferruccio Lamborghini entered Ferrari's office one day. "Your cars are good, but they have problems," he said to Enzo Ferrari after he had taken a seat. "I believe I can assist you in fixing the clutch, which is weak. I have some suggestions on how to make Ferrari vehicles better." Enzo Ferrari paid attention. After glancing at Ferruccio, he burst out laughing. Then he uttered words that would alter the course of history. "You should never try to teach me how to create sports cars because you make tractors. Do not stray from your tractors." Ferruccio felt ashamed. He was attacked by Enzo Ferrari, who called him a plain tractor maker, as though he didn't know enough about cars. Ferruccio Lamborghini made a choice that would eternally alter the course of history at that very moment. "I will build my own car, and it will be better than a Ferrari," he thought as he left Ferrari's office. Most people would feel defeated after receiving such an insult. They would surrender. Ferruccio, however, was unique. He used his rage as inspiration. He committed to himself. He wouldn't merely construct a vehicle. He would construct a vehicle that will surpass Ferrari. However, there was an issue. It was Ferruccio's first time building a sports car. He knew a lot about motors and tractors. However, creating a high-end supercar was a whole different matter. There was no factory for him. He had no group of engineers. Furthermore, he had no plans. That's where most people would have stopped. Ferruccio, however. Experience was not as important to him as something else. Willpower. He researched every aspect of sports automobiles. He employed Italy's top engineers. In Sant'Agata, Italy, a location that would eventually become famed in the automotive business, he constructed a new factory. Most significantly, he created a car that was strong, smooth, and simple to drive by applying his understanding of mechanics. Day and night, Ferruccio and his crew worked. They developed their first vehicle, the Lamborghini 350 GT, after months of arduous labor, testing, and creativity. It was lovely. It had strength. It happened quickly. Above all, though, it was not like Ferrari. Ferruccio was aware of a major issue with Ferrari vehicles. It was too hard to drive them. Ferraris required experienced drivers because they were designed for racing. Although they were quick, the average person found them unpleasant. In addition to being as quick as Ferrari, Ferruccio aimed to build an automobile that was smooth, comfortable, and opulent. People were taken aback when Lamborghini unveiled the 350 GT. No one thought a tractor maker could create anything so amazing. The Lamborghini 350 GT cost approximately $15,600 in 1964, which is equivalent to $150,000 to $160,000 in today's currency. People adored the vehicle. Its smooth and powerful V12 engine demonstrated that Ferruccio Lamborghini was more than just a tractor manufacturer. He was a genius. However, this was just the start. Despite the popularity of the Lamborghini 350 GT, Ferruccio was not happy. He wanted more. His goal was to ruin Ferrari. So he got to work creating a new vehicle, something even more legendary, even more opulent, and even more powerful. The Lamborghini Miura would be that vehicle. Ferrari was the supreme supercar manufacturer of the 1960s. They controlled premium sports cars and racing. Their reputation was solid. Ferruccio was aware that he needed to take a radical approach if he hoped to defeat Ferrari. Thus, Lamborghini unveiled the Miura in 1966, a vehicle that would permanently alter the course of history. The Miura was unlike any other automobile ever produced. Because of its mid-engine design, the engine was located in the center of the vehicle rather than at the front. It became faster, more steady, and more conducive to driving as a result. In just 6.7 seconds, its 4.0-liter V12 engine could accelerate from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, among the swiftest vehicles of its era. Its exquisite design caused people to pause and gaze. A masterpiece was the Miura. People went nuts when Lamborghini unveiled it at the Geneva Auto Show. This was a message rather than just an automobile. It demonstrated that Lamborghini was more than just a manufacturer of tractors. It demonstrated Lamborghini's ability to rival Ferrari. Enzo Ferrari felt enraged because he believed Ferruccio to be merely a farmer. He had insulted him. Ferruccio, however, had now created something amazing. It was beginning to be said that Lamborghini was superior to Ferrari. Competition did not appeal to Enzo Ferrari. Being the top was nothing new to him. He then began to criticize Lamborghini. He claimed that Lamborghini was merely a fad. It isn't going to last. Their vehicles are excessively expensive. Ferraris are purchased by real drivers. Ferrari, however, was afraid. Enzo understood deep down that Ferruccio had created something truly remarkable. The rivalry between Lamborghini and Ferrari became legendary after that. Lamborghini kept innovating, producing cars that were more elegant and powerful. Ferrari persisted in retaliating by advancing their speed and technology. However, Ferruccio Lamborghini had prevailed. He had shown Enzo Ferrari to be mistaken. The world was suddenly aware that Lamborghini was more than just a manufacturer of tractors. It was an empire of supercars. The impossible had been accomplished by Ferruccio Lamborghini. He had put Ferrari to the test. He had shown the world who he was. Additionally, he had established a brand that would go down in mythology. However, the conflict between Ferrari and Lamborghini was far from resolved, since Lamborghini now faced a fresh obstacle. Remaining at the top, Ferruccio was not one to get ahead of himself. He was aware that success is more than just getting to the top. The goal is to remain there. He so persisted in working harder, more efficiently, and innovating more quickly. Because of Miura's success, Lamborghini became well known all over the world. Lamborghini became known as the new king of supercars. Car enthusiasts, celebrities, and millionaires all desired to acquire a Lamborghini. The business began to generate millions of dollars. Lamborghini was selling automobiles more quickly than ever in 1966. In 1968, they unveiled the Lamborghini Espada, a four-person luxury grand tourer that Ferrari did not have. Lamborghini unveiled the Countach, a futuristic-looking vehicle, in 1971. Everything was altered by the Countach. It was futuristic, swift, and violent. It resembled a spaceship because of its angular, sharp lines. It featured scissor doors, a feature that would later come to define Lamborghini. It was among the quickest automobiles in the world thanks to its enormous V12 engine. This was an automobile that people had never seen before. For millions of people, the Countach became their ideal vehicle. The Lamborghini brand became well known because to this vehicle. This vehicle inspired children to hang Lamborghini posters on the walls of their bedrooms. People thought Lamborghini was the future because of this car. Ferruccio was confronted with a new challenge that would permanently alter his life, while Lamborghini was accomplishing new heights. Although Lamborghini was earning millions of dollars by the early 1970s, the company was nevertheless having financial difficulties. Due to the high cost of fuel brought on by the worldwide oil crisis, supercar purchases decreased. Luxury automobile tariffs were raised by the Italian government. Demand was too high for Lamborghini's factories to meet. As a businessman, Ferruccio was aware that difficult choices must occasionally be made. He made the most difficult choice of his life in 1974. Lamborghini was sold by him. Indeed, the man who founded Lamborghini, who aspired to surpass Ferrari, and who established an empire of supercars, left his company. After selling his stock, he retreated to his vineyard and began producing wine. Many believed that without Ferruccio, Lamborghini would perish. Ferrari was widely believed to have won the war. However, they were mistaken, because Ferruccio had created something so strong and renowned that it would flourish even in his absence. Ferruccio left, but Lamborghini continued to fight. One of the fastest cars ever produced, the Lamborghini Diablo, was released in the 1980s and had a top speed of 325 kilometers per h. They produced the Murcielago in the 2000s, a vehicle that came to represent elegance and power. One of the most recognizable supercars of the modern period, the Aventador, was introduced in 2011, and Lamborghini is more powerful than ever now. Each year, they earn billions of dollars. Volkswagen, one of the largest automakers in the world, owns them. They keep pushing the boundaries of design, technology, and speed. However, one thing has been constant: Lamborghini's inventiveness, passion, and spirit of retaliation. One insult was the beginning of it all, one disrespectful moment. Enzo Ferrari gave a single laugh. A man who would not concede defeat. One of the most valuable automakers in the world today is Lamborghini. Lamborghini makes more than $2.5 billion a year. Each year, the company sells thousands of cars, with models ranging in price from $200,000 to $3 million. Volkswagen Group, one of the biggest automakers in the world, owns Lamborghini. The brand is still a representation of riches, prosperity, and power. However, what about Ferruccio Lamborghini's own fortune? Ferruccio led a tranquil life in Italy after retiring, concentrating on his vineyard business. His estimated net worth at the time of his death in 1993 was $100 million, a fortune amassed with perseverance, ingenuity, and hard labor. However, Ferruccio Lamborghini's real legacy extends beyond his financial contributions. The lessons he left for the world are what truly make him wealthy. Lamborghini is now a representation of strength, achievement, and quality. As they say, when you want to be famous, you buy a Ferrari. When you're famous, you purchase a Lamborghini. Ferruccio Lamborghini, a guy who transformed an insult into an empire, left behind this legacy. There is more to the Lamborghini tale than just automobiles. It has to do with success, life, and mentality. You will discover some of the most potent teachings that have the potential to permanently alter your life if you fully comprehend this tale. 1. Don't allow anyone to set your boundaries. It was explained to Ferruccio Lamborghini that he was merely a tractor manufacturer. He was laughed at by Enzo Ferrari. He was questioned by the world. He wouldn't listen, though. Nobody told him what he could or could not do. He created a renowned empire as a result. You'll learn a lesson. People will question you. People will make fun of you. However, don't allow someone to limit your potential. 2. Use your rage as inspiration. After Enzo Ferrari insulted Ferruccio Lamborghini, He had the option to remain irate. He had the option to argue, complain, or give up. However, he turned that rage into fuel instead. He used his anger to get things done. He thus established one of the most potent auto brands in history. You'll learn a lesson. Don't waste time getting upset when life insults you. Build something amazing with that rage. 3. The best form of retaliation is success. Lamborghini never used words to argue with Ferrari. He didn't dispute. He didn't try to use speech to support his argument. He let his accomplishments speak for him. And one of the most reputable brands in the world today is Lamborghini. You'll learn a lesson. Spend less time and focus on negativity. Rather than arguing, demonstrate your worth with outcomes. 4. Even have faith in yourself. Ferruccio had no supercar experience, if anyone did. It was his first time building a sports car. However, he had faith in himself. And he accomplished the impossible because of his unwavering confidence. You'll learn a lesson. No one else will believe in you if you don't. The first key to success is confidence. 5. Do it yourself if you want it done well. Ferrari's poor clutches had become old to Ferruccio. He didn't simply whine, then. He improved the automobile himself. He didn't wait for another person to solve the issue. His own fate was in his hands. You'll learn a lesson. Don't wait for someone else to fix the problems in your life. Do something. 6. Keep coming up with new ideas. Lamborghini produced more than just automobiles. He created the future. He brought in cutting-edge technology, strong engines, and fresh designs. Lamborghini rose to prominence in the supercar sector as a result. You'll learn a lesson. Achieving success involves more than just getting to the top. It all comes down to being ahead of the curve, innovating, and always improving. 7. Take chances. There is no profit if there is no risk. By abandoning his tractor business and going into the supercar market, Ferruccio took a significant risk. He put all of his money into a fantasy that nobody took seriously, and history was altered by that risk. You'll learn a lesson. You will never be great if you never take chances. Have the courage to pursue your goals. Ferruccio Lamborghini is not the only subject of this tale. You are the subject of this tale. Perhaps people don't think you're real. Perhaps you feel undervalued, rejected, or insulted. Perhaps you have lofty goals, but no help. But keep this in mind. The foundation of Lamborghini was an insult. Ferruccio used suffering to gain influence. He used rejection as inspiration. He made an empire out of an insult. You can too. Don't let insults deter you. Don't let failure break you. Don't ever let fear to rule you. Because you can write your own success story, just like Ferruccio Lamborghini did. Share this story with the world if you think it's powerful. Post a comment. What insights did Lamborghini's journey impart to you? Like, spread the word, and motivate others. Keep in mind that your success story is only getting started. The best kind of retaliation is success. Make it happen by going out there,